Hello everybody, and I welcome all of you back to day 83 of our 1000 Dawns. So, 17 days to go until we reach the first milestone of this little adventure of ours. And actually, I wanted to talk to you guys about something a little bit different. The sort of thing that just came up last night when I was just sort of trying to get to sleep. But you know, the subject of artificial intelligence. It's an extremely controversial subject because not only has news about it arose about it trying to replace digital artists and also trying to replace writers, but now, according to former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he talked extensively about how once AI actually floods the job market, it means that generations of people from now will be completely out of work because robots will be doing all the work for us. Actually, we're not even too far away from that sort of reality because I think it was some sort of subsidiary company of Jeff Bezos has actually managed to sort of start developing robots that act like us, look like us, but actually have as they say, parts that can just, if they fail, they can be replaced. And guess what? They get straight back to work. And some of them even are completely capable of folding away into suitcases so that they save a lot of room on storage and they don't need wide open spaces, fresh air whatsoever. They can continue to work completely as before. It all sounds really impressive, only up until the point where you realize that, guess what? If this is what the next 20 or so years is going to look like, well, it could mean that there were some really dark times ahead. It's actually all culminated in an event referred to as the singularity. Now, the singularity, popularized by the novel of the same name back in 2005, it revolves around the idea about how robots will become so advanced they'll form what's referred to as a superintelligence, in which case what will happen as a result of this is that human beings will end up becoming reclusive and extremely cut off from one another. Not only will there be no work because machines will have taken all the jobs, but there won't be literally anything for anyone else because what exactly are we supposed to do to pass the time, to earn money, or to carry on the human race when machines can pretty much theoretically carry on afterwards? All of a sudden, and I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that, because it's a really, really complex issue nonetheless when we talk about artificial intelligence. But there is just this much to be said. They're not going to be slowing down this progress anytime soon. The progress will carry on until it reaches its logical conclusion, and all of a sudden we'll start to see entire warehouses and plants completely run by autonomous machines. We'll be seeing all of this in action, and well, where are the rest of the actual workers supposed to go? Now, it may not happen in my lifetime. I mean, even if we get to, by the time we get to the 2040s or the 2050s, by that point, I will be in my early 40s or even in my early 50s by the time we get to that point. But there is an interesting case to be made as well. What if it does come about at that date? Or what if it comes about just a little afterwards by the time I'm in my 60s? Or what if it doesn't even have to come that far? What if it happens when I'm in my late 30s? So there raises a very, very interesting case, and that is because, listen, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a reference for this, is that I've been making videos on YouTube coming up this July for 8 years now. And during those 8 years, many, many things have changed. Governments have came and went. We went through an entire pandemic. We've seen war, at least 4 to 5 different wars break out across the world just in the last 4 years. And to top all of this off, there's an increasing level of worry that, guess what, now all of a sudden we are all going to be replaced. However, this is only to be inevitable. You know what? Call it mortality or what you will, but there will come a day where there's no point of getting away from it. I will be dead, and so will all of you. One day we will all die. However, when you're faced with this, there are several things that do come around in some small way. First of all, yes, it is absolutely inevitable, and B, what exactly does it matter what happens to the earth after we are long dead? Like what happen? Like let's say if I reach 50, which is only 22 years away, and the machines have all taken over. But what happens if I'm dead by then? Well, what does it matter? I mean, I'm not planning on having any children anytime soon. I'm not even planning on getting married or anything to that effect. So what would it matter whether I was gone or not? I mean, yes, I do have other relatives. I imagine cousins and whatnot, and other family members aside, and friends. Don't get me wrong, but again, by the time they're all gone, well, would it make any sort of difference whatsoever? By the time, because logically, by the time I'm gone, what would it matter? Because all my thoughts would have been either transcribed onto paper or probably studied in essays and stuff like that. And well, what would it matter after that? Whatever I say, whatever I do, it's more to be documented as a case example and then taken on forwards. But then what happens, I don't know, 50 years after I'm dead? When machines have taken up all exercises in, let's say, the fine arts, literature, journalism, television. So what would happen if there was no thought to document? What happens if there was nothing about the incredible reclusivity about life? If there's nothing to relate to? What I'm trying to get at, just to bring this sort of to an end, what if this whole singularity actually divides more people and without any real means of coming together? Because guess what? The only people who will prosper from this whole singularity will be the people who have developed the machines and those who program the machines, which in a few years' time may be as little as perhaps maybe 0.00001% of the entire population of the earth. They will own everything there is to own, and they will buy up everything that can be bought at. So it's a bit of a whilst it sounds like a very disparaging situation that we're in, there is just this much to say. If you really want to prevent a future of singularity, if you want to actually avoid such a future, the only thing to do is to make sure that it doesn't happen. How do we do that? By not giving money to, let's think, artificial intelligence companies that develop these machines, and actually stop it and, actually fight for your rights. Because guess what? If we don't fight for them, it's going to be the next generation and the next generation that will suffer for all of this. In fact, to be honest, you could be argued the reclusivity about the human race is almost starting right now. If you start making it harder and harder for people to form connections with one another, and well, take me for example, I've already made the conscious decision that I'm probably going to die childless, but I surely can't be the only person right now who is feeling this way. What if there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other men just like me out there who don't want to actually have any children? How are you going to convince them to carry on? Because sooner or later, again, this will come back full circle if everybody just decided to stop having children. How are we going to have... So are we even going to have a next generation at all? Sooner or later, these sorts of conversations will have to be brought up on far more desperate scales. And listen, where there is tragedy, there's trade. And you can almost work out what some big wig somewhere in a corporate office will decide. But let's hopefully pray that it doesn't come to that either. But in the meantime, I will see all of you guys again next time. Thank you.